Once there was a young man who lived in a small village. He was well liked by everyone, but he had one problem that he could not solve. His mind was never at peace. It jumped from one thought to another, like a restless monkey swinging from branch to branch. No matter what he did, he couldn't find calm. One day, he heard of a wise Zen master who lived on a nearby mountain. The villagers spoke of how the master had helped many people find peace and clarity. Desperate for help, the young man decided to visit him. When he reached the master's hut, nestled in the middle of a serene forest, he bowed respectfully and said, "Master, my mind is a mess. It's always racing with thoughts, worries about the future, regrets about the past, and things that don't even matter. I've tried everything, but nothing works. Please teach me how to calm my mind." The Zen master smiled gently and said, "Come, sit with me." They sat on the ground, surrounded by the stillness of nature. The master closed his eyes for a moment, and then he said, "Let me tell you a story." The young man leaned forward, eager to listen. Once, there was a king who owned a rare and precious jewel. The master began. This jewel was his most prized possession. One day, he noticed a small crack in the gem. Worried that it might shatter, he summoned the best jewelers from across the land and asked them to fix it. But no one could repair the crack without risking the entire jewel. Then, an old jeweler came forward and said, "Your Majesty, I cannot remove the crack, but I can transform it into something beautiful." The king, though skeptical, allowed him to try. The old jeweler worked on the gem for days. When he finally revealed it, the crack had become part of an intricate design, a stunning carving of a delicate tree, with the crack forming its trunk. The king was amazed. What was once a flaw had become the jewel's most beautiful feature. The young man listened intently, but looked puzzled. "Master, that's a lovely story, but how does it help me calm my mind?" The Zen master chuckled softly. "Your mind is like that jewel. The thoughts that trouble you are like the crack. You cannot get rid of them by force. But if you stop resisting them, if you allow them to exist and observe them without judgment, you will see how they can transform into something meaningful." The young man frowned. "But when I sit quietly, my thoughts only seem to get louder. They overwhelm me." The master nodded knowingly. "That is because you are fighting them. Let me give you a task to help you understand." He reached for a small bowl and filled it with water from a nearby stream. Then, he handed the bowl to the young man and said, "Take this bowl and walk down the path to the big oak tree. But there's one rule. Do not spill a single drop of water." The young man carefully carried the bowl, his focus entirely on keeping the water steady. When he returned to the master, he proudly said, "I didn't spill a drop." The master smiled. "Good. Now tell me, while you were carrying the bowl, did you think about your worries, your regrets, or your racing thoughts?" The young man's eyes widened. "No, I was too focused on the bowl." The master nodded. "Exactly. When you give your mind something to focus on, the chaos begins to settle. This is what meditation teaches us. You don't need to fight your thoughts or push them away. Instead, you gently guide your mind to focus on your breath, on a mantra, or even on the sensations in your body. Over time, the monkey mind becomes less restless." The young man hesitated. "But what if the thoughts still come?" The master pointed to the stream nearby. "Look at the water. When you step into it, ripples form. But if you stand still, the water becomes calm again. The same is true for your mind. When you stop reacting to your thoughts, when you simply observe them like clouds passing in the sky, they lose their power over you." The young man sat silently, letting the master's words sink in. He could hear the gentle rustling of leaves, the chirping of birds, and the soft gurgle of the stream. For the first time in a long time, he felt a glimmer of peace. The master smiled. Remember, your mind is not your enemy. It is only a tool. When you stop fighting it and start observing it, you will discover the calmness that has always been within you. The young man bowed deeply. "Thank you, Master. I will begin my practice." As he walked back down the mountain, he noticed the beauty of the world around him. The sunlight filtering through the trees, the cool breeze on his face, the sound of his footsteps on the path. And for the first time, he realized that his mind, like the restless monkey, could also learn to sit still. The lesson stayed with him. Peace doesn't come from controlling the mind, but from understanding it.